Right now, somewhere on Earth, someone is crying. Maybe at a funeral, maybe at a wedding, maybe alone in a parked car, gripping the wheel, not even sure why the tears came. You have done this too. Everyone has. But here is something you have never been told. You're the only creature on this planet that does it. Out of every animal that has ever lived, every fish, every bird, every wolf and whale and chimpanzee, not a single one sheds tears because of how it feels. Only you. And the real reason why is far stranger than you think. Let's start with the obvious. Eyes need water. Every animal with eyes produces a thin film of fluid to keep them clean and moist. A dog's eyes water. A crocodile's eyes water. When you chop an onion, your eyes flood, and that is pure chemistry, your body flushing out an irritant. Scientists call these basal tears and reflex tears. They are maintenance. They are plumbing. Almost every animal with eyes has them. But that is not the crying we are talking about. The crying we mean is the one that comes when your chest tightens. When someone says the kind thing you needed to hear. When the music swells, or the phone call comes, or you finally let go of something you carried too long. Those tears have a name, emotional tears, and they appear to belong to you alone. A researcher named Ad Vingerhoets, a Dutch psychologist who has spent decades studying this, calls human crying one of the great unsolved puzzles of our species. He points out that we are the only animal whose eyes overflow from feeling, not from pain, not from dust, from meaning. So the question is not really why do you cry? The question is why did you, and only you, evolve a body that leaks at the moment of deepest emotion? To answer that, you have to go back, way back, to a time before language, before fire was reliable, to a small, vulnerable primate trying to survive on an open plain. Picture your ancestor, not a caveman with a club, something earlier, smaller, a creature with almost no natural weapons, no claws worth the name, no fangs, slower than nearly every predator that hunted it. By every measure that matters in the wild, this animal should not have made it. But it had one thing: each other. Your ancestors survived because they banded together. A single early human alone was a meal. A group was a fortress. And in a species that lives or dies by the strength of its bonds, anything that strengthened those bonds was pure gold. Anything that said, without words, I need you, and I trust you enough to show it, gave the whole group an edge. Now think about what a tear actually does. When you cry in front of someone, you become, in that instant, completely defenseless. Your vision blurs. Your voice breaks. You could not fight or flee well, even if you wanted to. You're announcing to everyone watching that you are not a threat, that you are overwhelmed, that you need help. In the wild, that should be suicide. Showing weakness gets you killed, unless you live in a group that is wired to respond to it. And that is the twist. This is where it gets strange. Your tears did not evolve to help you. They evolved to move the people around you. A tear is not a private event. It is a signal. A flare fired into the social sky that says, "Come closer. Something is wrong. I cannot do this alone." Researchers have actually tested how powerful that signal is. In a study led by the psychologist Robert Provine, people were shown photographs of faces that were crying. Then they were shown the exact same faces, digitally edited so the tears were erased. Everything else identical. Same eyes, same mouth, same wrinkles of distress. When the tears were gone, people struggled to read the emotion. The faces looked confused, ambiguous, hard to place. But add the tears back, and suddenly everyone understood instantly. This person is sad. This person needs me. Think about what that means. The tear itself carries the message. Strip it away and the message gets lost. Your body evolved a visible, unfakeable sign of inner pain, and the people around you evolved to read it in a heartbeat. It is a language older than words, a conversation between bodies. But why water? Why the eyes? Why not some other signal? Here the science gets honest, because no one knows for certain. There are theories. One idea is that blurred vision was the point all along. By temporarily blinding yourself, you send the most trustworthy signal possible. You're saying, "Look, I have lowered my guard completely. I am no danger to you." A signal you cannot fake easily is a signal people can believe. Another theory points to chemistry. A biochemist named William Frey ran experiments comparing emotional tears to the tears from chopping onions. He reported that emotional tears contained more of certain stress-related proteins and hormones. The idea was provocative. Maybe crying is partly your body physically flushing out the chemicals of stress. Maybe you feel lighter after a good cry because, in a small way, you are. That finding is still debated. Science has not settled it. But notice the through line in every theory. Crying connects you to your own body, and it connects you to other people. It is never just one thing happening alone. Now come back to the present. Come back to that person in the parked car. When you cry as an adult, you're running a program written millions of years ago in a body that needed other bodies to survive. That is why crying alone can feel so strange and incomplete. The signal is firing, but no one is there to receive it. The flare goes up into an empty sky. It is also why being comforted while you cry feels so deeply good. Someone reaching out, an arm around you, a quiet voice, that is the ancient circuit completing itself. Signal sent, signal received. The bond holds. For a few 100,000 years, that exchange was the difference between living and dying, and it explains the strangest crying of all, the tears that come not from sadness, but from overwhelming beauty. A song, a reunion at an airport, a child's first steps. Why on earth would joy make you leak? Because the system was never really about sadness. It was about intensity. About moments so big, they exceed what your body can hold quietly. In those moments, the oldest part of you does the only thing it knows how to do. It reaches out. It says, to anyone near, "Are you seeing this too?" It pulls people toward the feeling. There is one more thing worth sitting with. You learned to cry before you learned to do almost anything else. A newborn cannot walk, cannot speak, cannot even hold up its own head. But it can cry. From the first minutes of life, before a single word, you already knew how to send the signal. I am here. I need you. Come. It was the first sentence you ever spoke, and you spoke it in a language every human on earth understands without being taught. So the next time your eyes sting and the world goes blurry, remember what is actually happening. This is not weakness. This is not malfunction. This is the oldest social tool your species ever invented, still running, still working, still reaching for connection across the millions of years that made you. Right now, somewhere on Earth, someone is crying. And somewhere very close, without thinking, without being asked, someone else is moving toward them. That is the real reason you cry. Not because you are breaking, because you were never meant to face the hard things alone.